Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. I would like to thank very much all member states who took the floor. I cannot fail to acknowledge and express gratitude for the support expressed for this report and my mandate, support that really moves me deeply. It is reassuring against the pro-genocide voices that continue to infiltrate this room. The apocalypse we are watching in Gaza reveals the unhinged inhumanity of this propaganda. I have to say, this has been one of the most focused and substantive interactive dialogues I've experienced as a special rapporteur. I did not expect it, especially in light of the regrettable delay in the report's submission, for which I apologize. On that note, I must say, the continued funding of the United Nations and OHCHR by many member states will not serve justice or accountability and will not make our work speedier. These cuts do not reflect a lack of means, excellencies, but a shift in priorities toward rearmament. And this is alarming, and I sincerely hope that this course will be reconsidered and reversed. Now, going to the specifics of the question raised and considerations they triggered. Failing to diagnose is failing to cure. This is not a conflict. This is not a war. It's not an escalation of violence. It is intentional ethnic cleansing, which is entailing genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. In the meantime. Second point is that failing to plan is planning to fail. I hear that the two-state solution is the only solution. No, before this, the only solution is ensuring rights and freedoms for everyone between the river and the sea, which means end of the genocide now, end of the occupation by September this year, and end of the apartheid. This will be liberating for anyone in the land that they call home, for the Palestinians and Israelis, Muslim, Jews, Christians, atheists, everyone. Considering the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous that the state that is being accused of international crimes, including using starvation as a weapon of war, is given the responsibility to distribute aid to the Palestinians. It's a death trap and must be stopped. The United Nations must regain control over humanitarian aid. Regarding alternatives that can be explored, I really commend the government of the state of Colombia and the state of South Africa for convening the Hague Group. This is the most relevant diplomatic and political development I've registered in the past 20 months. It doesn't make sense to resort to political discussion about a peace process that has not translated even in the recognition of the state of Palestine among some of you. So the emergency now, as these two states are proposing, and I hope that many of you will join, is to end the emergency in Gaza. End the blockade, end the occupation, and end the apartheid, but starting with the discussion on how to end the emergency. The substantive question on how states can strengthen due diligence in their own jurisdiction to have corporate disengage from crimes. Strengthening human rights due diligence domestically implies establishing binding legal obligation requiring businesses to assess, act on, and report risks of involvement. However, under the guiding principles on business and human rights, the threshold for responsibility is a direct link between a company's operation and human rights violations. All companies I put on notice in preparation of my report go far beyond a mere link into active contribution. So the due diligence process must lead to action, and identifying risk is not sufficient. In the case of the occupied Palestinian territory, the violations are so grave, sustained, and structural that leverage is not just ineffective, it's meaningless. And at this point, the responsibility of those who continue to engage in businesses with the State of Israel become one of termination and disengagement and reparation. Continued corporate involvement legitimizes and normalizes a system found by the International Court of Justice to be unlawful, to be dismantled totally and unconditionally, and with the plausibility of genocide confirmed by the provisional measures and International Court of Justice and other crimes confirmed by the ICC arrest warrants, there is no alternative to this. Corporations who stay involved with intent, knowledge, and purpose must be held accountable. I want to conclude with one remark. As with reckonings that followed corporate complicity in apartheid South Africa and Nazi Germany, the apocalyptic situation in Palestine poses a defining test. Can global markets exist without enabling and profiting from injustice and impunity? Palestine today is a revealer, a mirror held up to the world's moral and political failure, and ending the genocide and ensuring this is the last crime the apartheid Israel commits against the Palestinians is a moral and legal obligation. And this requires not just outrage and condemnation, but rupture, reckoning, and the courage to dismantle what has enabled it. Thank you.